So I have been seeing a lot of people complaining about how do you know when something is sexual harassment. The best way not to sexually harass someone at work is to think before you do. Think about it. If you wouldn't like to see this being done to your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, your best friend, your lover, the next door neighbor down the street, you probably shouldn't do it at work to a coworker. Number one. Um, if your daughter were to have this happen to her, um, would you be upset? Would this make you turn violent? If it would, you probably shouldn't do it to someone else's daughter or son. I mean, it's that simple. It makes a lot of sense. You're at work. I mean, yes, you can fraternize, and people. We always I'm an actor, and people always talk about, flirting with the baby. Well, people flirt with a baby all the time, and it's not sexual. Flirting is not harassment per se. It depends on how you flirt. If you're doing what Matt Lauer did, which is giving a certain kind of gift to a person, that's not flirting, that's harassment. And it's disgusting. I'm going to take a break for a minute and pick right back up. Just just take a second before you do something. If it is not okay for someone to do it to you that you're not involved with or not attracted to, or even just it's just not okay for even your wife to do it to you because you're not in the mood for that kind of behavior, don't do that to someone else at work. This is work. I mean, people's livelihoods, people's whole futures depend on what they're doing at work. Have you ever heard the term "don't shit where you eat"? Matt Lauer, oh my gosh, that was shitting where he eats. Why would you do that? Because you think you have power. And that's another thing I want to say. People were like, well, people date people from work all the time. Yes. And there is an appropriate way to approach a relationship or initiating a relationship with someone. If this person is someone you want to date, and if, let's say that you didn't know them from work, but they were somebody who was associated with your mother, and you asked your mother to set you up with this person, and she brings you to a party and introduces you to this person, if you wouldn't do something to that person in front of your mother or the rest of your family, or your friends, if you wouldn't do whatever you're thinking about, and that I'm still talking about Matt Lauer right now because I've read everything. If you wouldn't do that in front of a family member, then probably shouldn't do that in trying to initiate a relationship with a coworker. Family members fix people up all the time, and if you wouldn't behave that way, if you wouldn't do whatever you're thinking about in front of your mother, your sister, your brother, your boss, your daughter, and you think it's okay because you're thinking about dating this person, or you think this person likes you and wants to date you or have an affair with you, if you wouldn't do it in front of somebody else, don't do it. If you have to separate that person in order to initiate a relationship, don't do it. I mean, do whatever you can in the light. If you want to ask somebody out, if you feel comfortable enough to ask someone out in front of everybody at work, then that's a different thing. You got to ask yourself some more questions, but that's a different thing than locking someone in your office. I'm going to take another break. Okay. Now you are like, okay, I've got all that taken care of too. I've got all that under control. I still want to date this person. You still got to ask yourself one question. Number one, does this person want to date you, or is this person feeling pressured to date you because their livelihood, their future, their money, their bills getting paid depends on you? If that is true, I would not initiate a relationship with that person because it muddies the waters. You don't know if that person thinks that if you don't date them that they are fired. You have to tread lightly and carefully in scenarios like that. I'm not saying that they don't work and they can't work, and I'm just saying you have to think before you act. You don't know. That person might be thinking, oh, I need to date this person or do whatever this person says, or else I won't have a job. That's not fair. That's not right. Okay? Do you get it? Lastly, I think that you should read everything that has happened with the Mount Lauer incident, with the Harvey Weinstein incident, and if you're anywhere close to that Moore guy in Alabama, you're a pedophile. Um, it's just that simple. But those cases are not just harassment. They're criminal. I mean, if you actually read it and think about your daughter, your mother, your son being put in those situations, you would automatically see that it is criminal. Don't just always take yourself out of the picture. You've got to start looking at things as if this were me, is this okay? Would I be okay with this? Would I be okay finding out that my daughter passed out in somebody's office while being assaulted? I don't think you would. Would I be okay if I passed out by being assaulted? And I'm talking to you as a man or a woman, because men get harassed too. Men get assaulted too. It's just that simple. You just need to think before you act. And if you wouldn't do it in front of somebody else, you shouldn't do it at work. Work is mother. Literally. Like mother gives you milk to sustain your life, work gives you money to sustain your family, your life, and the work that you want to do. Why mess with that? Why shit where you eat? What if you are a person who thinks that what Matt Lauer did was okay, wasn't that bad, then you actually need to look at yourself and maybe see a shrink, because it's not okay. What happened was not okay. Think before you act. Follow the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.